Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Smason, and welcome to NOLA Theater Talk. This is our weekly talk show dealing with theater in the New Orleans community. Apologize, we're running just a little tad late tonight. Had a little technical issue that we wanted to deal with. Again, we broadcast each Monday and Friday night to our NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, our theatercriticism.com Facebook page. For those of you who don't want to become a member of the group, but anybody who wants to become a member of the group can, as well as my own YouTube channel. So those of you who are not yet knowledgeable about all that, just look up Alan Smason on YouTube. You'll find it. And again, we invite everybody who wants to participate tonight, ask questions, make comments, to leave permission to do so on StreamYard.com/Facebook. That allows us to see who it is that's out there watching and hopefully making a comment or asking a question of our guest. Our guest tonight will be none other than the NOLA Project's very own AJ Allegra. I want to welcome AJ back. AJ, actually, we had a conversation with you some months ago. At the time, you were not yet married. You were about to be. So I want to first off congratulate you on your nuptials.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And at the time, also, you were undergoing, a bit of a traumatic changeover because you were getting ready, first off, to enter Lusher again and get back into a teaching mode because you had been sort of dormant from teaching. And now, are you doing virtual and in-person classes now?
Yeah, what we do is called a high flex model. So students have the option to come 2 days a week and then stay at home 2 days a week, or be fully online every day of the week. And it's extremely challenging and it's not very fun, but we have to do it because it's the safest way to effectively educate the kids right now.
Right. Now let me ask you, have you had any situations where somebody has proven to actually be exposed and you've had to have them go out of the class or remove themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I can't disclose any names because
no. I'm not asking.
Yeah, there have been issues where like either a student or a teacher has been exposed to COVID. In fact, Lusher was actually affected by COVID really right at the start. We had one of our baseball coaches actually passed away very soon after the shutdown began in late March. And so, our community definitely has been affected by it. But I think that school is doing a good job of taking all the precautions.
Well, that's my alma mater. That used to be Fort Che. My father attended Fort Che. My uncle attended Fort Che. My great uncle actually taught art there from the day that they opened the doors in 1931. He was the art teacher there till he retired in 1969. And anybody who hears the name Joseph Smith, who knows he's not the guy associated with the Book of Mormon, but the school of Alcé Fort Che, then you know what we're talking about. And again, at the time, you were also administering, as you have been, as a founding member of the NOLA Project, which you're going to talk about. But you were not only doing that, also getting prepared for school, but you were also were doing a volunteer position as the head of the New Orleans Theater Network group that was trying to get together, and I'm sad to say you had to step down for, I think, some personal reasons. I think quite justified. You were getting ready to get married. You had a lot on your mind, and
actually, I got married while fully in the throes of running.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. What it really was it was a combination of how I had to, the summer is a good time for us to, do a lot of work as a theater community because so many of the theater community members work in education. So we could get a lot done because a lot of us have summer break. But really, once it was time that, and this wasn't just me, so many of the theater artists in that group essentially had to kind of redirect their focus back towards inventing a hybrid model for the upcoming school year that it unfortunately became too much. That being said, I think that the theater community is very strong and well united, and I think that there was a valuable summer that we learned a lot of from one another through a lot of good information sharing. And I think that a lot of the things that we started to do will, it's not as if all is lost. I mean, we've gained a lot of information, and I think a lot of the organizations are going to be better off for that.
Well, you bring up sort of a hot topic for me, and that is that there was a survey that was commissioned by that group, the NOTN group. There were over 200 people that took part in that survey, and sometime around August, September, that data was supposed to be released. And the last I heard, one of the members of the committee was in charge of it, and I've actually written several emails to that particular person and not received one email back. So I'm just saying, I'm not calling that person out because I don't believe it's a fair thing to ambush somebody in public like that. But by the same token, I believe that data should be shared with the other 200 people who took part and the other members of our committee. It's not their data to withhold. It was a shared data bank, if you will. And I think some of that information could be crucial to some of the openings of our theaters, because it had to do with the feelings about whether or not people are going to feel like they're going to be comfortable, what issues about safety surrounding not only just attendees, and yesterday was the very first time AJ got to go to a theater. I went to the JPAS production of The American Soldier in West Wego, and it was, as I've always said, what will it take me to get into a theater? And it was an open door, and I was very delighted to be there and experience live theater once again. And I hope that all of us get to not only see it from that perspective as being in the audience, but also those people who love to be involved in theater, on the stage, get to participate in that way again. So again, I'm not trying to be controversial insofar as calling somebody out, but I really do believe that data needs to be shared, and the person or persons who are withholding it should be held accountable. And if they want to have a talk with me, I'll be more than happy to explain the way of the world to them and explain to them why that's not their data to withhold. And I really would like to see that the members of the New Orleans Theater Network, which I was privileged to attend, and I cannot tell you how important it was to me to be a part of that group, even though I was a peripheral member and I wasn't a full-fledged member, but to be able to listen to what people were saying, to try to get an idea as to what they were feeling, what kind of place they were in. Did they think we were coming back? When they thought they might be able to come back? What about the safety issues? What about actors' equity? All the other issues about just getting back up. How soon would we be able to return to what we used to call normal? All of those questions need to be answered, and I hope that we will be able to get some of those answers forthcoming through that survey. So let's get on to why you're here tonight. We're going to talk about the NOLA project, of course, which we mentioned, and also pod plays. Now, I guess that brings up the big question of, if you can't participate like you normally would on a stage, and of course, the one thing that the NOLA project has always done is they've excelled in outdoor work. From Alice's Adventures in Wonderland that they did, Don Quixote. I mean, I can go back and talk about all the outdoor work you did at the Sculpture Garden, and they just were getting ready to bring out the other section of the Sculpture Garden that had been worked on. So that was going to be a new play space for you. So I know NOLA Project can do outdoors real well, but you can't really do a lot of indoor work right now. Even JPAS yesterday, they had maybe at most 50 people inside a theater that housed like maybe close to 300. So you're talking about 25% maximum capacity. Not a good thing in terms of being able to break even. And certainly we don't want our venues to be losing money. If you opened up your doors to lose money, that's not a very good proposition at all. So you all have come up with an opportunity to engage your actors, to essentially get them to act again, and to be involved with the community, so that it's not a losing proposition. It's a subscription series, and it's what I used to call, back when I started in broadcasting, radio. And these are essentially radio on demand podcasts, right?
Yeah, the concept behind it was, how can we modernize the radio play, which, is not anything that we're inventing by any means, but how can we take a radio play and, rather than produce old radio dramas, because there are dozens of classic radio dramas, that many of which, like the War of the Worlds, are still done today and done very well and in exciting ways. But I thought that it was an opportunity for us to really dig into our mission of producing more new work, and particularly producing work that was going to use a vastly more diverse artist pool, that we could write new scripts, commission new plays, because playwrights are out of work, actors are out of work. We could commission these things, cast these things. We could get the equipment that we needed to create a recording studio, per se, where our office is, and then we could record these things. And essentially, the reason why we don't call them a radio play is that they're not on the radio. The idea is that they would be things that you could either download or access via internet connection anywhere you were and listen to at any time you want. So very much in like the streaming world of getting your entertainment on demand at your behest.
So again, I know that James Bartell was involved in the writing of this. Who else did you employ besides James to write these? Well,
we looked around our company, and I kind of surveyed we're very fortunate that our company has a lot of writers in it, and a lot of people that have multi-talents, including James and Michael Santos, and Pete McGilligan, Brittany Williams. And so I basically selected a few of the playwrights that we work with. So I talked to James Bartell, I talked to Pete McGilligan, I talked to Gab Reisman, and I talked to Brittany Williams. And I did talk to two other writers that are more on the national level, that are not New Orleans based. I talked to Sigrid Gilmer, who wrote Harry and the Thief, which we produced in January. And I talked to our buddy Adam Simkowitz, who wrote the original show Stockholm Syndrome, that I directed now 2 years ago. And
also Clown Play, right?
And Clown Bar, yeah.
Yeah, Clown Bar.
So, and both of them are interested in writing pod plays for us down the line. Unfortunately, they were booked with other work that they had to, deadlines that they couldn't be met with my kind of tight turnaround. So in the end, I ended up asking James, Pete, Gab, and Brittany to write a play, each of them. And what James ended up doing was James he wrote a play called Alien Status. That is something that is a stage play that we are hoping to produce in the future. We've done a reading of it at our Rough Draft series. It takes place in the Bywater, and it is about a kind of a kooky collection of individuals that you would find in the Bywater. There are some gutter punks, who I know that's not necessarily a kosher term, traveling kid, travelers, that they themselves are actually turn out to be, they have some more secrets, that they may be slightly extraterrestrial. It has a coffee shop owner, a mailman with a kind of, and a couple police officers with a mysterious background. I don't want to give too much away, because I think that that's a lot of the fun of Alien Status, but it's a very James Bartell type of, it's with a lot of humor, and actually I think delivers a good message on.
So we're gonna give the audience a little treat of that, because we've got a couple of the clips that we have. So I want to play one of those in just a second, but before I do, I want to go off a little bit and find out what it is that you're having to drink tonight, because I'm not quite sure what that is in your hand.
I wish I could say it was more exciting. It's a La Croix lime.
Lime.
Perhaps it is non-alcoholic,
Yes.
but it's a Monday, and I have to teach tomorrow.
Understood.
And perhaps, I will douse it with a shot of something later on.
All right. So now I'm going to give you a little history. I was telling you, this is sort of a pink-looking drink, as you can probably see, and it is actually Ohen. Now, what makes Ohen so important is that in the history of Mardi Gras, this is the official toasting liqueur, if you will, for the crew of Rex. And years ago, the legend is, and again, I don't have any way to prove this, but I'm pretty certain it is true because it's been told over and over again, and people have said, yes, that's true, that apparently the people who are responsible for Billy Goldring and the people over at Sazerac at that time had Republic, and they were able to get the last 2,000 bottles of Ohen that Rex used to toast with, 2,000 bottles that Rex bought so they could continue to have their toast with Ohen. And that original formulation it would turn blue, cloudy blue when you add water to it. I added a shot of Peychaud bitter, so it turned a little bit more red. But it is more pinkish now. But it's a brand new distillation that Lejeune, one of the brands that the Sazerac company owns now, which is where we get the herb scent from, the two different varieties of herb scent, the strength that they usually use to coat the glasses for Sazerac, and then there's the more heavier proof that they have that's also out there, which is a little bit more expensive, and that's the original looking bottle that they have from like in the 30s. But anyway, so Lejeune has it, and so Rex went through the entire 2,000 bottles, and they were starting to kind of freak out. And it was, I think, a decision on the part of the people over at Sazerac that they were going to finally get the licensing and put out Ohen themselves. So congratulations, they now have Ohen, and anybody in New Orleans can get Ohen, on their shelves in their bars. So
and the J is pronounced like an H because it looks like
because
OJ.
it was originally from Spain. So Ohen, just like Julio and Jaime. So that's what it is, Ohen. So there you go. So let me before I put on the first of the scripts that you've got out there, I wanted to kind of show a picture. Maybe you can tell me who some of these people are here. I think that's Alex Martinez Wallace, and who else is involved?
No, okay, all right. So no, that's actually not. That's Jared Billings.
Oh,
so
okay. I can't tell with the mask. Yeah. Go ahead.
The person that is in the mask is Jared Billings. He's a very talented sound designer.
Oh, okay.
And sorry, someone's knocking at my door.
Well, if you need to get up and go get it, it's all right.
Oh no, it's just a regular neighborhood person coming around asking for things. Sorry about that distraction. My wife looked concerned.
Right.
But
so all right. So this particular person,
Jared Billings, is a coworker of mine at Lusher. He teaches in the media arts department, and he was acted as a sound designer and engineer on Alien Status, and he's a tremendously talented guy. So, I mean, essentially what he has to do is he has to make sure that all the actors are recorded properly, that the microphones are input, and that everything is coming through okay. And then he has to take it all and add to it all of the sound effects and the soundscape. So it really is. So much of the pod play work is very much the art of the sound designer. So it really is a nice showcase for him. And then the other people in that photo are Carol Sutton and Leslie Clavery. So that was the recording from our second pod play, NOLA the Hero, in which Carol plays an old blind woman who lives in a cave.
We're gonna show some more pictures of the recording sessions, but I want to go ahead and play a little clip of pod plays right now for everybody. And that way you can attend to your door. Let's see.
Was it? Yo.
What happened?
Your girl Smash was just chilling in the street, minding her own manners and shit.
Yeah?
Admiring the sunset.
Like she does.
And this dude's postal truck comes ripping around the corner, right? Going 47 mph in a
She was in
zone.
my blind spot.
About to bust her in her ass, and she don't even flinch. She just drop kicks the postal truck right in the headlight.
Oh, word!
Sends him straight into a tailspin.
Hey, y'all, that shit ain't funny.
To me it is. Smash is my bitch. Tougher than a cannonball, stronger than a tank, harder than my tank.
Damn, bro, you didn't tell me you were doing 47. You could have vehicular manslaughter someone.
She busted out my headlight and dented up my bumper, man. I ain't worried about her.
I am. She could have died. Got a concussion.
Doubtful.
You don't know that. My cousin, Roman, got a concussion doing a cartwheel off the diving board. A high one.
Ooh, how high?
Way up high. He's dead now.
Pod Plays are a production of the NOLA Project.
It's hot coffee, kid.
Let me see if I can get us back in. There we go. I was trying to figure out exactly what was happening there. So essentially, you have stereo sound. You've got it designed in such a way, and you're not alone. I want you to know that one of the big theater companies called Resounding, what a name, Resounding. They just did a production of Dracula. Coming up at the end of the month, they've got another production of Treasure Island, which is going to star Rob. I'm trying to remember his last name. He was the fellow who was in Chaplin, if you remember.
Rob McClure.
Rob McClure, and he's going to be featured in Treasure Island. So those of you who are familiar with Robert Louis Stevenson and the wonderful story that we read as kids, they're going to bring that all back. They just did Bram Stoker's Dracula, and all done with the really high tech, great sound effects that you come to love in these kind of radio plays. But as you said, it's not really radio because you don't tune in to radio. You literally go to on demand, go to where it is that you're going to have. Now, how long do these things stay up, by the way? I mean, in other words, I know you had a subscription for like 4 or 5 of these things at one time, and then
well, the way that we work it is that if you can buy at any time, really at any time, you can buy whichever of the 4 pod plays you like, or what of course I would recommend is just pay $35 to become a pod play pass member, which is kind of, it's a modified subscription for our time being until we can get back to regular producing. But that then basically gives you every day that a new pod play is released, so there's 4 release dates, those people are then emailed a link, an exclusive link to the pod play so that they can listen to it. And you can listen to it over and over and over again. I mean,
yeah. So but within a certain
certain
window, though, right? In other words, if they're going to be seeing, let's say, Alien Status,
Mhm.
you get the link. It's good, like from November the 1st to November the 4th, or something like that, right?
It's good in perpetuity until we decide to take it down. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So once you get the link, you can go back and listen to it as many times as you want.
Mhm.
Okay, I understand. Because some of the companies actually will not allow you to go, past a certain date, and so you all are a little bit more visionary in that regard, or are a little bit more liberal in terms of the way that you're trying to get people to come in.
We're more generous.
Yeah. So you got Gabby Reisman doing one. You've got Peter McElligott, you said, is doing one.
Yep.
James did one, and there was one other person, Adam Sikowitz, right?
No, Brittany Williams.
Oh, Brittany too. Okay.
Brittany
right.
Williams, who's one of our newest company members, actually.
Yeah, that's it. And Brittany, of course, is a former Stage Door Idol winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
multi-talented. Great
yes.
singer.
And an author, right?
An author, exactly.
She just had a book published.
Yep, she's part of a collection of artists that have written. She was hired by Star Wars, I guess, or Disney, perhaps, now that they own Star Wars, to write a short story in a collection that was just published this week, in fact. So
right. I saw. So let me go back before we go to the next clip. Let me go back and see if we can throw. You said this is Kyrie, is that right?
Yeah, that's Kyrie Armstead. So he plays the mailman in the Alien Status play, who's the main character, so that was him at our recording session.
And
there's Alex Martinez-Wallace, who
I knew he was in one of the pictures. I thought he might have had the mask on. Yeah.
Yeah, you just heard him in the last clip as the barista that owns the Bywater coffee shop in Alien Status, and then next to him is Tanaj Jackson, and she actually plays two characters in Alien Status, one of the officers and a character named Charette. And then Kathleen Moore is, fortunately, she's sitting at the end of the table and her face is blocked by the microphone. But yeah. Kathleen Moore is also playing one of the officers as well. And there's Alex.
There's Alex again, and you said the
Tanaj Jackson.
Tanaj, okay. And then let's see. This might be.
That's Kathleen.
Yeah. So, and I think we rounded out. We got one or two more pictures around the table. From different perspectives, and
that's Cuba Hathaway. She was our director for Alien Status. So each of the pod plays has a writer, director, sound designer, and then the cast.
It's wonderful that that it's so, she looks like she's having a good time. I imagine that for people who are actors, that this is really a great release for them. And I mean, a lot of people support themselves with voice talent. A lot of very good actors right now are supporting themselves with voice talent money because they can't go out and go to a stage. They can't go out necessarily and do a movie unless they're lucky. So it's kind of interesting. Let me see if I believe I've got one another pod play, and these are all from Alien Status. So we're not going to have any choice of. But you tell me before I play this next one. You've got one coming up that you're going to be participating in, right? And what's that going to be about?
Yeah, so NOLA the Hero is our next one. That comes out a week from Wednesday on the 18th of November. And that was written by Pete McElligott. It's a myth. It's a made-up myth. It's not a Greek myth or anything. It actually has a funny story that it was something that we kind of made up in college together. And it's a made-up myth about a young woman who is determined to go find Helios, the god of the sun, and demand that he return to the sky because he has decided to plunge the world into eternal darkness. And she enlists the help of Selene, an old blind woman who lives at the foot of a mountain in a cave, and Selene's bear, Callisto. And the three of them, NOLA, Selene, and Callisto the bear, essentially have to make their way up to the mountain in order to confront Helios, the god of the sun. And that's a pod play that contains the actors it contains Claire Gresham, who's one of our very talented New York-based company members, contains Carol Sutton. I needn't say any more than the great Carol Sutton. It contains me, the distinctly voiced human being, AJ Allegra, and the equally distinctly voiced Zeb Hollins III as Helios as well. And the bear is voiced by a combination of both Leslie Clavery, our director for that piece, as well as Matt Jackson, our sound designer. And I'll tell you what, the bear's really impressive. You wouldn't think that it was a human. That's some good bear sounds.
Well, I've been trying, I've been sort of pushing the envelope, trying to get Keith and Leslie on the show. Maybe one of these days they'll bless me with their presence. But
the challenge for Keith and Leslie, they are two very, very adoring dog parents, and they have these two great dogs, Fred and Ginger. But it's hard for them to have video calls at their house in the evening because Fred and Ginger just tend to bark and make a whole mess of a noise. So I mean, they're not blowing you off. It's really a case of it's hard for them to do
but
things at night from home.
I know Judy Clavering. I know she could probably babysit the dogs if necessary too. Anyway, but they're so talented, and Keith has won so many awards. Leslie has won so many awards. I mean, I think the mantle is getting a little tired hanging all of those awards. I mean, Keith just won for the Henchman, right? Which was a project that you did with the New Orleans Museum of Art, correct? Michael Santos got the original work.
Yeah.
I mean, the NOLA project, just year in and year out, keeps really raising the bar so high, for so many companies, and yet you don't have a brick and mortar place. You've done this without having to have overhead, insurance, and all those other things. Now you have a board, and obviously, this has not been a good year for any theater company, and you all, felt the pinch too, because your fundraiser was had to basically be, put off, and now you were going to have some kind of a secondary fundraiser. How did that work out?
Well, we ended up, once we had to cancel our fundraiser, we basically put fundraising, as it were, on hold. And over the summer, we really focused on looking inwardly as the company and looking at how we could bring greater diversity towards our board and our company members. So that became really a great part of our focus for the summer months. And the pod plays, in essence, are a way for us to fundraise. I mean, yes, they come with a cost. All of the artists that work on the pod plays are paid. The actors, the director, the sound people. But we do ask the people of the community that wish to patronize our company that they pay to listen to the pod play. So they act as a fundraiser, just the same as any kind of programming does. And then we are going to be doing a holiday. We'll be doing an end of the year campaign for raising money to ensure that NOLA Project does exist in 2021. Right. Because every arts organization, us included, is very much in a financial, very, very precarious spot in order to continue our work. But we'll also do a fun holiday. I don't want to give it away, but we're going to be doing a bonus pod play, and it's a fun holiday pod play that is slightly naughty.
Probably not Hanukkah, from what I can figure, right?
No, but there are Jew jokes in it.
I guess you mentioned Carol Sutton is in one of the things that's been challenging for companies these days is that when people have videos or they have something that's on an electronic basis, like what you're doing with the pod plays, it runs afoul of the two different unions. You've got Actors Equity that claims stage play, prominence, that's their baby, as it were, bailiwick or whatever. And then you've got SAG-AFTRA that says anything that's broadcast over television or radio or anything like that, that's our bailiwick. And of course, when you have something that's an original play that's broadcast as a virtual thing, now both unions have to be involved, and both of them want to have their say as to who gets, and they want to actually have, are you running afoul of that? Or are you having to pay both unions and deal with that? How's that working out?
The unions themselves are in a perpetual kind of fight, and it's really not our battle to have. So we really work with artists as independent contractors.
I got you. So you don't have a contract that you have with the union to do these things like that?
No, because Actors Equity has yet to come up with any sort of plan, as it were, for stage actors to be contracted, other than in very specialized cases like at Barrington Stage in Massachusetts or whatnot. So,
they've got a list that's that thick of regulations that they want people to, but whether or not it's workable is another story. You may want to have it, and I understand where they're coming from. Is safety of the actors, safety of the stage managers is a prime concern, but they want to basically make sure that it's a safe environment for everybody, and that they're not letting their guard down.
Right, and we do the same. I don't want to seem like as if we're careless in our methods. We have all of the actors that participate. Will fill out a survey to let us know what they're comfortable with doing in terms of, like, we never have more than 4 actors in,
or broadcast tonight. We're going to go ahead and play another one of the pieces. This one again is from Alien Status, and let's just take it away.
It's hot coffee, kid. It's supposed to be hot. Oh, hey, yo, sorry. We're closing early today.
This will only take a minute.
All right. Wait, what only take a minute?
We got a call about a disturbance in the area from Mr. Washington.
It's, yeah, there was... Somebody stole my truck, and all signs point to...
Stole?
You filed the police report?
I mean, I called it in, but the dispatcher said I should...
Grab a coffee first while you
Right.
wait.
No, I mean, I had to come in here to use the phone in the first place.
Been a crazy day.
I bet. Well, the police deferred to us. Thought we should check it out. This is Agent Jones. I'm Agent Emery.
Hi, I'm Mr. Washington.
Want to tell us what happened to your truck, Mr. Washington?
Yeah, I got an eyewitness right here. It says he saw the whole thing.
That true?
Partially. Minor accident. No injuries. Going 50 in a school zone.
Accident! Might want to breathalyze him.
Well, that ain't... When I was in here calling to report it, the truck got stolen.
So you didn't call about the stolen truck, you called about the accident.
What did you hit?
It was a...
Tractor.
A tractor.
A John Deere hit and run. Can you believe it?
Oh, so you saw it too.
Do you have the security footage, Mr.
Coffee.
Mr. Coffee?
Pod plays are a production of the NOLA project.
There we are. So that was the second clip, and we have one more that's going to remain. But just it does me good to hear those voices and to know that you've got the actors out there doing their thing like they normally want to. In terms of the spring, you have normally your Sculpture Garden show that usually is the beginning of May or so. Have you talked to the New Orleans Museum of Art lately and gotten any feedback as to how that's going to be done this year? Are we progressing our way towards that?
Yeah, the hope is that we're back outside and producing the show as we would in May. I would anticipate that at that time that audiences may need to social distance. We may need to have regulations about the capacity levels of people. But already the museum is doing programming outside in the amphitheater. They've actually had some very nice concerts recently. The LPO played out there. New Orleans Opera played there the other day. So the stage of the amphitheater has begun to be utilized by NOMA. And then, additionally, NOMA is just on the verge of opening a brand new theater auditorium that I actually did a training session in the other day and took a... It's a very nice place.
So it's in the main building?
Yeah. You can see it, honestly. You can see it if you drive around on the east side of the building around the circle and you're by the new Sculpture Garden. You can look up. There's a brand new atrium that you can see that exists right next to it. So it's a pretty beautiful space. I'm very excited for it to come online.
Well, I'm really happy that that's going to happen. And again, I don't know when and if you get. They also have that other auditorium that's in there though, still that they're going to be able to use from time to time too. The regular theater that they have, right?
But that's the one that's being rebuilt. That's
okay.
So the total renovation.
Oh, I got you. Okay, well, yeah, I'm familiar with that. And we've had not necessarily a lot of people in there, but I believe
we've done there.
Well, I think one time Tony Kushner was in there for a presentation that they had him there for. So it fills up quite easily. But again, under circumstances when we can sit next to one another and not have to worry about wearing masks, etc. You can usually get several hundred people in there. But having to social distance and be cognizant of the limitations on restrictions, etc. For sizes of audiences, we have to be very careful about how many people can come in. So let's get back to what we're going to be dealing with here. NOLA project again. You got 4, possibly with a 5th for bonus. You said.
Well, the 5th one is our holiday special.
Right.
Not revealing yet. But like I said,
but
we
hopefully-
reveal shortly.
Yeah. And can you talk about the other ones though besides the holiday one? Can you talk about?
Yeah.
So
We
talked about Alien. We talked about Alien Status.
I already touched on the plot of NOLA,
Right,
which is the play about the myth.
So what are the third and the fourth?
The third play is actually one that I directed. Gab Reisman wrote it. It's called Hemlock Exchange, and it's a fascinating play that is set entirely on New Orleans 1917 telephone lines. So the concept that Gab started with is the idea of party lines. Party lines were shared telephone lines that were shared by 3 or 4 businesses in a local or homes in a local area. This was before the days in which every home basically was strung with its own telephone line, or the homes that were obviously the privileged few and wealthy that were able to do it. And what Gab has done is she has done a wonderful job of basically creating a pastiche quilt work of New Orleans people. You know, there's everything from the owner of Central Grocery to the mayor to two uptown women getting ready for Comus Ball to prostitutes in the Storyville neighborhood to Sam Zamuri, the banana magnate. Homer Plessy is a character in it as well. This is after Plessy v. Ferguson, when Homer Plessy goes back to his regular life, actually selling insurance. And it's a great play that depicts New Orleans in 1917, which as people may remember, is the time that New Orleans had to almost cancel Mardi Gras while they dealt with the Spanish flu.
Also, they were just dealing with Storyville at that time too.
They were dealing with Storyville, and they were dealing with obviously the United States participation in the First World War. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of stuff going on. It feels Gab does a great job. I'm the biggest fan of Gab's writing.
Me too. Yep.
But she does a great job of capturing 1917 with so many obvious allusions to our present day realities.
So we're going to touch on a little bit of the Spanish flu during the time when we're in the COVID-19 pandemic. So
exactly,
it echoes modern time. And then I guess the one with what's Adam doing? Is he doing the?
No, Adam. Brittany Williams is
Brittany. Okay. What's Brittany doing? What's Brittany doing?
Brittany is writing an Afrofuturistic play set in deep space. Brittany is a huge.
Yeah, it sounds like she likes a lot of sci-fi stuff, huh?
You can follow. She has a whole Instagram persona called Black Nerd. I think it's Black Nerd Problems, or maybe Black Nerd Girl Problems. I'm sorry, Brittany, if you're watching. But Brittany is a huge Star Wars fan, sci-fi fan, and also a huge Shakespeare fan. That's actually something that she and I bonded over. I was like, I'm not a huge Star Wars person, but I love Shakespeare. And I love that she loves both of them, which I've obviously a lot of crossover in recent years, like with the William Shakespeare's Star Wars series. But I asked Brittany if she wanted to write something, because I knew that she actually had gotten this commission to do the Star Wars story. And she thought about it, and she pitched me this great idea, which is about a young woman that basically is a for-hire space. she's a chauffeur, as it were, and she is bringing a privileged, prissy girl to an event, and things go haywire in space. She keeps running into her ex. So it's kind of like Firefly meets Star Wars meets Star Trek meets the Guardians of the Galaxy. It has a lot of humor, and it is set in space, and it's got a funny narrator character. So what I like is that all 4 of the pod plays are wildly different from one another. I mean, we've got a realistic modern day show set in the Bywater. We have a
AJ? Hopefully he'll come back. He's doing his best impersonation of Disney's Frozen right now. Hopefully you can come right back on in there. Let's AJ, come on back in. I'm going to remove you right now from the stream, and just come on right back. We'll talk about what's going on. I'm going to play probably the last. Just come on right back in. You'll probably be able to do that. Just get yourself back in. I'm sorry he was sort of interrupted there. In any event, we're talking tonight with AJ Allegra, the artistic director of there he's back. Artistic director of the NOLA project. And I don't know what happened. You know, just all of a sudden, like I said, you were doing your best impersonation of Disney's Frozen. So there you were.
Oh God! Oh, I hate when that happens. Oh God! I hope my eyes weren't half closed in some ghoulish.
You were okay. You were okay. But we covered it well, and we have one more clip to play, as I said before we continue. But yeah, I mean, I think that you all are doing a great job. A lot of companies out there, are just waiting, chomping at the bit to get started, and you're not letting any dust settle on you, which I really appreciate the fact that y'all are keeping busy and trying to make some money, and maybe not going to raise as much as you could, if you were open, but at least you're getting something coming in, and I understand that. Before I play the last clip, I did want to ask, we have a little bit of time remaining. I wanted to ask a little bit about the NOLA project, its genesis. I know Andrew Larimer was just on one of our productions of Insulta Belarusia, and I know he's in Austin now. Kristen Wittershine is now out in Los Angeles. Sam Dudley's also back out in Los Angeles, where I guess his family hailed from. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of the original members or the people who had been here after the founding of the NOLA project, who'd been here afterwards, because some of them may not have been actual founding members. That they've left. But you keep replenishing. Anna Tujis is now a member, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
So she was not an original member, but she's now part of the group. Brittany is now part of the group. Who are some of your newer people that you can mention besides Brittany?
So we recently actually invited 3 members to join us. We added Brittany N. Williams. We've added Tierra Coleman, who was just played Mimi, the lead in Harry and the Thief, next to Samantha Boyer as Harry. And we've also added Wayland Cooper, who was also in Harry and the Thief. Actually, so all 3 of those people were all in Harry and the Thief. Tierra was also, Wayland has done several readings with us. Tierra was also in Men on Boats, where she played Old Shady. So those are our 3 newest members.
What do you look for when you say, I'd like you to be, before you extend an invitation to somebody, what do you look for in a member that in your mind as the artistic director sets up, I want this person to be with us for a lot longer than just 1 or 2 productions?
Well, what's important for us is that we have someone that has the mentality that we share, which is that we place the show and the art above the individual self. And, that is really the thing that we look for. We look for, do you have the kind of the team player mentality? And are you fun? Do you have a good sense of humor? I mean, as an artistic director, I think that, the work that NOLA Project does, by its own nature as the artistic director, will in some ways align with my own personal tastes. And I have a very, I would say, fun sense of humor. And so I generally look for shows that also imbue that. And I look for people that have a good time and don't take themselves too seriously. But I also want to point out that we were, historically, we were a very white company. And the value that is added when you have a greater diversity allows you to tell so many more stories, and especially stories about this community, which is, over 60% Black. And so it is also very important to point out that the 3 newest members of our company are all Black actors that are going to certainly just bring a lot more to us in terms of assisting the stories that we can tell. And they are all multi-talented. And I think that is part of our commitment to the community that we made this summer, which is that, we very much wanted to respond to the reckoning that is going on in all arts institutions in the country, and say that we would dismantle white supremacy as it existed perhaps in our own founding, albeit not intentionally, but we recognize that it's there.
Right.
And so we wanted to really systematically dismantle that and bring in members that would challenge us and provide us with new perspectives and a much greater diversity, equity, and a sense of inclusion for all people. And that goes beyond race. That goes in terms of ability, sexual identity, and that's the main thing. So I'm very proud that NOLA Project, even though, like you said, members move away, members can go and pursue other things. I like to think that NOLA Project is an artistic home for people. Those people that have left can come back, and we welcome them home anytime that they want to come back to, or if they can participate from afar. But it's also very important that a company does not become stale or staid, and that the company constantly has to refresh itself. I mean, we're not spring chickens anymore. We're mostly in our mid to late 30s. When we started, we were considered the young kids in town, because we were all 20, 21, 22. That's 15 to 20 years ago now. So we need to find new 20, 21, 22-year-olds, bring them into the company. But we also need to expand in terms of, we need to bring older actors, actors that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They have a lot to contribute as well. And we just have to, I think it's a goal for us that our ensemble has to do a better job of reflecting the community that we serve.
One of the things I was talking to Samantha McKee Anderson on Friday night show from Junebug was the importance of also getting diversity and inclusion on your board. Are you all working in that direction as well?
Yes, we are. We just added, in fact, six board members. Yeah. 4 of which are BIPOC, which is Black or Indigenous or person of color. Right. So we're very proud that we've got 6 great new board members. That's fantastic.
That's where the rubber hits the road, because, as you know, AJ, you can have an ensemble of very talented people, all diverse. If you've got a white board that's running things, then people are saying, well, those changes are more cosmetic than anything else. When you've got board members who are committed to change and also contributing, because board members have to step up. They have to either get people to contribute money to them under their name banner, if you will, or pay money to the board to help sustain it from year to year through giving. So it's very important. Let me go ahead and play our last piece here. This is another one of the Alien Status, to give everybody an idea about what these pod plays are all about. And we'll be back after this one.
What the hell was that?
Stay cool.
Dios, what kind of psycho-ass mofo starts a countdown from 7?
Really, son? That's where you're at right now.
Well, Dad, also, I didn't call no fumigators. I thought they was coming to take my ass away. I forgot the word for warrant, which is why I didn't ask them for one. And I can normally hop over that counter way better than that shit. And what the fuck is going on today, bruh?
That's better.
Yo, check me out.
No! Why you got the FBI chokehold on my mailman like that? That's nasty messed up. And taking some old lady's lost and found keys?
Ain't the FBI.
Grabbing a motherfucker by the nape of the neck?
That was nasty messed up.
And for the record, I can normally hop over the counter way better than that.
Pod Plays are a production of the NOLA Project.
And action. So, again, these are not necessarily for the young ones. They do have some language.
They contain adult language. They do.
Yeah. So we should warn everybody that don't try to invite your little ones in at the room unless, of course, you want them to be exposed to some adult language. And again, it's not like kids grow up so quickly these years. As you probably know, being a teacher, they get exposed to.
It's nothing that kids haven't heard, but I totally respect if a parent doesn't want to be the person that causes them to do the hearing.
I remember as a kid, I guess I might have said I led a sheltered life, but with the kids with the internet, et cetera, I think they get exposed to a lot more things that I would never have been exposed to as a child. These things, unfortunately, somebody said, like, if you click 3 things away from Britney Spears, you end up with porn. So it's just, the search engines just bring it up, whether you like it or not. Well, listen, AJ, I want to thank you for exposing the audience, to this, and I want to thank you for being my guest tonight again for the second time. This is, I know it's, the hour goes by quickly, but still, you put yourself out there, and I do appreciate it. Again, I want to thank you for all that you did with the New Orleans Theater Network group as their ostensible head. And again, I hope that somebody will eventually rise to the challenge. Maybe a rotating committee of 2 or 3 people, maybe say, I'll do it for a little bit, and then maybe you can come in next week and, maybe rotate or whatever. But I hope that we get some more people to come in there and take up the baton of leadership there, because I think it's really important for us to get back together and figure this thing out. We're not going to do any better by sitting, pointing fingers accusatorily at one another. We have to get together. We're going to try to make change in this community, just as if, in the nation, there's change about to happen on a national front. So hopefully things will be different. Maybe we'll have a kinder, gentler nation than we've had. Maybe the handle on the crisis for the pandemic will be felt in 2021. But as of right now, I have to say, we're not going to get anywhere by pointing fingers and calling each other names or not cooperating with one another. It's so important. So I really appreciate your being out there and doing all that you do. Again, Pod Plays. And again, anybody needs to know more information, they can go to the NOLA Project.
NOLAproject.com/podplays.
Yes. All right. And again, thank you for being with me tonight. Stick around for just a little bit. I'm going to close out the show. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here. Our guest on Friday night, if you read the little banner that we had scrolling by, is going to be Christopher Bentavenia, along with several cast members, Callie Russell and Clint Johnson and Chad Garrig, who all won Big Easy Awards for the best musical of 2019. They were in Cabaret. We're going to talk about that on Friday and talk with Christopher about his company, see him on stage. Hopefully, you'll be back with us for that. So once again, my name is Alan Smason, and this is NOLA Theater Talk. And again, we hope to see you at the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, or on the theatercriticism.com Facebook page, or my own YouTube channel. And until that time, next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you at the theater.